What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome.
Now, you know we like to remind you guys of everything we got going on. So let's start off with July 17th. That is
It's not July 17th, though.
What is it?
You're going to have people coming out on the wrong day.
July 27th. I was close.
We were at the Sony Theater and you guys weren't there.
No, July 27th, our live show. It's going to be at the Sony Hall. Mm-hmm. That's in Manhattan. And tickets you can get at Ticketmaster.com or SonyHall.com. Join us. It's going to be a great night.
I went to SonyHall.com and I couldn't find how to buy tickets, so I wouldn't direct people there.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm not saying it's not there. All I'm saying is it wasn't easy for me to find, so I would just send people to Ticketmaster.com.
No, it's pretty easy. Go to Sony Hall. I'm doing it right now as we speak. SonyHall.com. Now, mind you, I don't even know why you would go to SonyHall.com because everything with you to have to do with internet or anything like that, you asked me to do. And it says upcoming shows. You click upcoming shows, right?
I wanted to see how easy it was to get tickets.
Then when you go to upcoming shows, all you do is just go right to the date.
You saw a little tab for upcoming shows?
Yes, it's
all
right
I know
there.
is I hit menu.
And
I did what you said.
And we're right there.
You give bad directions. I think on a past podcast, you said just go to SonyHall.com and in the search bar, put the KC Crew. I didn't see a search bar. Okay.
Okay, maybe there's no search bar.
See, you can't just tell people random things because you think that's how it goes. Don't assume things. You have to do it yourself. Like you need to improve your research.
All right, so click.
Because I did it, and I'm freaking going to be there, and I couldn't find it.
You couldn't get yourself tickets.
I couldn't get myself tickets to my own freaking show.
Now you can't get it.
Okay.
All right, no, you go to upcoming events, and then you just scroll down to the date, July 27th, and we would love to see you guys. Again, it's going to be an amazing show. We have Major Hype doing comedy after, so definitely get your tickets right now. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you guys.
Yes.
All right. Now, right before we decided to do the podcast, I started laughing. You was like, "What's so funny? What's so funny?"
I didn't say it with an attitude. Why always have to put extra sauce? I saw you laughing. I said, "What's so funny?"
So I get this text, right? And I'm not sure who
he
this
told
text
me he
is
wouldn't
from.
tell me. He was like, "I'll tell you on the podcast."
I'm not sure who this text is from. I think I know who it's from, but I'm not sure because I don't have the number saved. But it says, "Laugh out loud. Don't laugh at me. But would you be interested in doing some paid posts for Fashion Nova men?" Now, no disrespect to Fashion Nova, but usually it's the female Instagram models and female models that do Fashion Nova. So it's just funny.
Or just, people that are popular on Instagram.
Right. So it's funny that they want me to do Fashion Nova men.
You popping out there in these streets.
Them squats is working. So you know what I reply with?
No.
I said, laughing my ass off. That is funny. But how much though?
Safari just did a Fashion Nova post.
Look, how much though?
Yes, it was good. I was like, okay, all right, Safari.
But hey, but for real, how much though? But anyway, let's get the show cracking now. Where you want to start?
You know where I think that we should start?
What's that?
The situation with your friend. No names, but I think that it's an interesting topic.
Okay.
And I don't know how you're going to feel about this. You're probably going to want to edit this and cut this and do this all over. Mm-hmm. But we had a conversation about your friend.
Right.
Which led us into a conversation, which turned into an argument. I think we should do an argument of the week segment. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Well, we don't have to do an argument of the week. We could go right into it because when I tell a story, it kind of goes right into it. But yeah,
and now I'm gonna hit it with the dun 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 argument of the week.
You hit it with the dun dun dun. And fellas or ladies, this is the podcast. If we're gonna talk about that, this is the podcast where your man might want to listen because this is where we have to put our foot down on certain things.
Where men have to put their foot down on certain things?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've got to be kidding me.
We'll talk about it in a second.
That's not how it ended. So it ended with you putting your foot down on something?
No.
How'd you just backpedal? It's only been like 6 seconds. That's the quickest backpedal I've ever witnessed in my life.
We'll get to it. Well, let's first start, all right, well, let's start here first.
What? Go ahead.
I want to tell you that Gia right now is fucked up.
What?
Gia right now is fucked up. So let me tell you guys.
Wait.
So
what just happened?
I'm explaining because we tell people what we're doing and everything that's going on in our life. And I'm sorry for cursing. I know a lot of you said stop cursing. I got kids in the car. I'm going to stop cursing.
That's a lie.
I'm going to try.
Don't curse and lie.
I'm going to stop cursing.
The babies just got home.
I know. They're going to be upstairs and they're going to
interrupt and then they're going to ruin my train of thought.
All right. But anyway, so this is where I'm going to start. So twice a year, Gia decides that she's going to work out with me in the gym.
Oh.
Twice. This only happens twice a year.
I'm effed up like that. Okay, go ahead.
This only happens twice a year, right? And you know,
wait, was it one of my New Year's resolutions? I don't know if it was or not.
I don't know. But twice a year, usually about January-ish, and usually about midway through July, she says, you know what, I'm gonna work out with you. I'm gonna come to the gym and I'm gonna work out with you. And usually Gia, she puts on the cutest gym outfit that she has. Everything's matching, whether it's everything's all Nike or everything's all Adidas or everything matches, right? She goes down to the gym with me, and you know, now this time I was
Shout out to Richie.
Sean's
trainer.
Richie's he's my trainer. I think it's Fit Club NYC is his Instagram. But we go down there and I'm working out. I'm doing the ropes. I'm doing pull-ups. I'm doing sit-ups. So I tell Richie, I said, Richie, just do me a favor. Only make her do one set.
One set?
One set.
That's what you told him, one set?
One set. That's what you did.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I understand. One set is like 4 reps.
Yeah, you did 4 reps of only one exercise, of 2 exercises.
So, okay, so the 4 reps of that one exercise is considered one set. Okay, because when you said one set, I felt like you kind of diminished my work.
No, I didn't diminish your work. So let me tell you. So I'm working out in the gym. So Gia does, and Madison comes as well. Gia does 1 round of jump squats.
1 set of jump squats.
Which is 4 rounds.
Of 15. Yes.
And she did 4 rounds of sit-ups.
Okay, yes. 4 rounds of sit-ups. But then I did 5 rounds of that other thing where he stood behind me and threw my legs down to the floor.
Right.
And then I had to elevate them all the way back up to a 90 degree position.
Right.
Okay.
So that was all Gia did. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less.
It felt like more.
No, that's all you did. It wasn't an hour workout.
The way you said it didn't shine light on how hard I worked.
That was all Gia did. Gia did 15 reps of jump squats. She did that 4 times, and then she did some sit-ups.
No,
so
and then I did the thing with the legs.
That's
why
why
are you purposely going to cut that out?
So that's all Gia did. That was about a good
hold on, why you said that's all? No, seriously,
workout.
You need to correct yourself. That was a lot. That took a whole hour.
That did not take a whole hour. That shouldn't have took a whole hour. There's no way in hell. It took you know what took a whole hour? Because you talk in between every set. You talk about, I can't wait to get out of here and get some food. I can't wait to get out of here and get some ice cream. Or I want some cheesecake. Oh man, is there soda here? She talks during every but now, every year this happens, Gia works out for the first day, and then when we get home, she's like, yo, I can't wait. I'm gonna start working out with you. We're gonna have matching outfits to work out, right? That's what she says. Then the next day happens, and that's when the pain comes in. You know, so if you work out, you know, the first day is always the tough day. The second day, you get that pain in your legs, your stomach, all your muscles.
Wait. No, every time that this has happened to me in the past, let's say you work out on a Monday. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, it's usually all good. You feel nothing. Wednesday is usually when the pain sets in. Something wrong happened this time because we worked out.
Oh, boy.
And then the next day, holy hell. Oh my gosh.
That happens every time.
It's never the next day.
You look like an old lady. You could barely walk down the stairs. Gia came with me to the club. I'm DJing. Her leg is shaking like she's doing a stinky leg and she's not dancing. Her legs just hurt. Like she's messed up. She's in bed right now.
I had to sit on the railing because I couldn't stand. I couldn't believe how my legs felt in heels. I'm like, I should really be in here in flip-flops or some Huaraches right now because my legs, I literally couldn't go up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like I stayed on the first floor the next day.
Right.
And I slept on the couch because I didn't want to walk upstairs. Like it was that bad.
And then I tried to get her to work out again. She was like, no. Then she came out the second day, worked out for about 10 minutes. So now after this podcast, we'll see if you work out with me.
Well, today's day 3?
Yes.
Today's day 3.
Day 4, actually.
Okay. So what day did we work out?
Saturday.
Okay, so today's Tuesday.
Right.
So Sunday, I thought it was going to be all good. I had pain on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I had pain on Monday. Mm-hmm. Today's Tuesday. I'm still in pain, but I can go up and down the stairs. I just have to go slowly.
Okay.
I was shopping the other day. What was it, yesterday or the day before yesterday? Day before yesterday. And I was walking and I almost fell because my thigh just gave me the middle finger and was like, I'm not bleeping with you for this moment.
Right.
And I literally almost fell into like a table with clothes and people looking at me and I'm just like, man, it's hard to explain.
They definitely thought you was drunk, high, something.
My leg literally just gave out. Like I was walking along slowly and fine. And then my leg was just like, nah, B. And I literally almost fell. I'm like, man, this working out thing ain't for me.
I would have paid to see that. I'd have paid to see bust your ass.
But today, I think I can get through some stomachs. It's really just my thighs. I'm going to be honest with you right now. It's just my thighs. I can't do any squats or any lunges or any leg presses or anything like that. But I think I'll be able to do some sit-ups, or I won't be able to do that tossing my leg down to the floor thing. But you can get some sit-ups out of me today.
Okay, so we'll work out a little later. So we'll get you back in the gym. I'm just happy that you're back in the gym.
No, listen, I tried to tell you, I am committed right now. Like I am committing to a healthier lifestyle, which is going to incorporate working out. You said every day. I think that that's very ambitious. Let's say 3 days a week. Let me get, something built up. Let me, because right now I think that I'm very... Like, I don't want to say I'm very out of shape because I appear to be in shape. Right. So externally, I'm in shape, but I think that internally, I'm very out of shape. I don't think that I have wind anymore. I don't have as much stamina anymore. And that's really the reason why I want to work out. I want to build all of that up. So, no, I'm committed. So if we can start out with 3 days a week, I'm with it. And then if we can up it to 5 days a week, and then I want to start doing research. I want to find out, it's one thing when your trainer tells you, we'll do this for that and eat this for this and blah, blah, blah. But you know me, I like to really know. So maybe I'll get a few books, do some research, be able to confirm everything I'm being told and really make it part of our lifestyle. That's really what I want to do. I want to have an ass that you can bounce a quarter off of.
Okay. I mean, you already got that ass. And I can help you bounce a quarter off of it. But anyway, that's a different story.
But you know what I mean? Like I actually want to see a transformation. I want to see what working out can do for you. Like you see people go through their transformation. It's like, like I want to experience that. So let's see what happens. Okay.
All right. And what was I going to say? It was on the tip of my tongue. Mother effer.
See, there you go. Poor kids in the car.
Before we got to the topic, I wanted to say one more thing.
It'll come to you. Let's go into what we wanted to talk about.
I can't. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. And I want to tell you, a lot of your followers are nasty MFers. I'm going to tell you why.
What are you talking about? So, no, not for nothing. I have the best followers in the world.
I'm going to tell you why. Right before we do the podcast.
My Instagram is a happy place.
Let me tell you. Right before the podcast, I go through the DMs to see if there's any questions or emails. Because sometimes people email us.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes people hit us on DMs. So I go through my DMs and check. I go through your DMs and check. And last week we talked about Disney, and you were talking about it was so hot that, that you had the sweat under your...
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about a different DM that someone sent.
Oh, which one? You seen a DM?
No. You're talking about...
Because there were women,
something about Disney.
Yeah, no, a couple of females. You were talking about that it was so hot in Disney that you were sweating under your bra. Under your titty, you were sweating.
Well, I didn't use that word, but yeah.
Yeah, so women were sending you pictures of them sweating under their titty to show you that
really?
they knew that what they were talking about. And I was like, this is disgusting. Like, you shouldn't send my wife a picture of...
I love my followers.
Your sweat. I don't even know what's called. Your sweat under your titty. I don't know what it's called.
Every woman, unless you're a double A cup, you know what I'm talking about. Like when you're working out or it's a hot day and you got on cotton and... you just start sweating underneath your boobs and it's just like, oh my God, I hope this doesn't show. Then you got to go home and change. You got to pop into a store and buy another t-shirt. You got to go find some paper towels somewhere. It's awful.
I went in your DM and somebody was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Look at the sweat under my titty. I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, this is just too much TMI.
You didn't even show it to me. You talk about it here. You don't even show it to me.
It's just disgusting. But, let's what I want to talk about is, first of all, if you're friends with Gia and I, just know what you tell her.
All 6 of you.
Yeah, what you tell her, 9 times out of 10 she's gonna tell me, and what she tells me, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna tell her. So
no. What your friends tell you, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna tell me.
Yeah,
you said what I told you. You're gonna come back and tell me.
You know what I mean.
But I already know it, so it would be pointless, right?
Right. They knew what I meant. But anyway, so a friend of mine, I'm not gonna say his name, got into an argument with this girl, and the reason being, this girl went through his phone and found a text from her ex, excuse me.
Right.
You understand? So let me rephrase that because I think I might have messed it up because I think I confused myself. My friend's girl went through his phone and found a text from his ex where they were talking. The text was it was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
It was light.
It was a light text.
It was light.
But, we got into the conversation about, having conversations and talking to your ex. Now, you don't talk to your ex. I don't talk to my ex.
Our exes are from like 25 years ago.
I know, still.
You sound crazy.
But if we weren't together.
What's wrong with you?
No, listen, if we weren't together 25 years and we were together 5 years, I wouldn't want you to talk to your ex.
Wait, say that again.
Let's say we were only together for 6-7 years and we weren't together for 25 years.
Okay.
I don't care if we were only together 3 years. I wouldn't want you to talk to your ex. That's how I feel. You might feel a little different, but I'm like, if there was sex involved and there was a love relationship and there were sparks and there was emotions and feelings, I wouldn't want you around that because that can always happen again. And I know somebody out there's probably like, well, you're insecure. You're right. I am. And I admit that. And I don't want to play that game. I'm not playing those type of games. I don't want you to be in contact with unless it's very, 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 hey, I heard your mother died. I'm sorry to hear that.
Really? Wow. That was wonderful. I appreciate that example.
I mean, that's the reason why. Other than that, there's no reason to be in contact unless we have some type of business with each other or something like that. But other than that, there's no reason to be in contact if the relationship was that strong. Or if there's kids involved, then I understand that. But if there's no kids, nah.
And what if the relationship wasn't that strong? What if it was a relationship that may not have been a love relationship? What if it was a sexual relationship where, we had feelings for each other, but it ended because, let's just say, we grew apart?
Yeah, I don't.
But we had a good friendship.
I don't necessarily like that.
Necessarily, or you don't like it at all?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
It necessarily kind of sugarcoated it, right?
Forget the necessarily. And I know some people are friends with their exes, and you guys are better than me. Like, what works for your relationship works for you, but what works for mine and what makes me comfortable and keeps me sane is what I prefer. So, and the reason I say that is because if you're talking to your ex, right? In no relationship is perfect. There's times where I get on your nerves. There's times when I'm sure you're upset with me. I'm never upset with you because you're such a perfect female for me. You're my wife. But, you never know when somebody could catch a girl or catch a dude at his lowest. And it's easy for somebody to swoop in and just be what your girlfriend or your fiance or your wife or your husband is not. Not even if they mean to. So, for instance, let's say you're married to somebody, right? And me and you are friends. And
wait. I didn't understand that.
Let's say you're married to somebody else, not me.
I'm married to somebody else,
right? Okay. And me and you are friends. We were lovers before, and now we're just cool. And you're still attractive to me, and I'm sure I'm still attractive to you because I'm fly. And we still speak. And your man did something wrong, whatever it may be. And you call me, and let's say we talk on the phone or whatever it may be. As a man and who I am, I'm just gonna be that sympathetic person. Like, oh, he did that. Like, he didn't mean to. Like, he needs to mature a little bit. Like, I just feel like that's what men would do. Like, men.
You said that's what you would do.
I probably would do that, but not on purpose.
If you were attracted to me, and you say not on purpose, but that's a dirty lie. It would be on purpose. Maybe. We know what we're doing when we do it. Sometimes we like to psych ourselves out because we don't want to come to terms with it in our own minds. But even if it's not malicious, we know what we're doing. And in that situation, you would have known what you were doing.
Yeah, but I feel that.
So you feel that men pounce when they have an opportunity.
I do. And I feel women do as well.
And you know what's funny? I believe that people, it's not just men, I believe that people do it because, in part, it's entertaining.
Right.
They may not even really want that person like that. I think sometimes people do it to see if it'll work. And because it strokes their ego, it makes them feel good. I think that it makes people feel great when they can pull somebody away from the person that they're with, or get the attention from somebody when that person is already invested in a relationship, because it makes them feel like, wow, I have the power, or I'm that attractive, or I'm that desirable that that person is willing to give me attention, even though they're already involved in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I just know how men are, and I know how I would be, I think. And I don't think, like you said men know what they're doing. But
Not men. I said, I don't know if I said men. I meant people.
I don't know if people know what they're doing, but it's almost like a game.
That's exactly what I just said.
Right. But a game that I don't necessarily am trying to play. Like, and when I say that, like let's say, for instance, perfect example, when not Madison, but when Jackson and London walk down the stairs, they're competing with each other and don't even know they're competing with each other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they're trying to get to the bottom step first.
Now, that's a good analogy.
They're trying to get to that bottom step first, but I don't think it's like, I gotta beat her. It's just natural. Like, I'm not gonna let my sister beat me. But that's how I think this is. It's so natural to be that person. Like, word, your man did that? Damn, that's fucked up. I wouldn't have done that. I would have supported you with this. Like, I just feel that's how men are, and that's how women are. And for that reason, you cannot talk or speak with or communicate with your ex.
But now let me ask the question that's being begged right now.
Right.
Wouldn't that imply that you don't trust me?
No.
You
Maybe.
just
yeah. You know what?
Like, let's be real.
Yeah, it would a little bit, but it's less about you and more about me. And I'm gonna explain to you. Me, myself, I'm an insecure person. I am. I'm not even gonna sit here in front.
Let me just make sure I understand. Do you feel that you're insecure in life, or do you feel as though you're insecure in our marriage?
Insecure in our relationship, and I've always been.
Okay.
And reason being,
you still feel insecure to this day?
Yeah.
As wonderful as our relationship, as wonderful as our family is, as wonderful as our life is, you still feel insecure to this day?
Yes.
I'm going to need you to explain that, but I'm going to let you finish your thought first.
And the reason, I explained briefly, the reason I'm insecure is because if you listen to this podcast, you know there's so many different things I did that was foul to you. You know what I mean? So I'm still living in, I've done so many effed up things to you. So with me doing so many effed up things to you, if you listen to the podcast, we were even talking about it the other day, it was like, damn, you should have left me a long time ago with some of the stuff that I've done to you. So with that still being in my head, the things that I've done to you, the way I've treated you, it's like, yeah, you should have left. Damn, if you do step out, you know, it's deserved. You know, if something does happen, it's like, yeah, my ass does deserve it. So I still live in that world.
But that's the thing, you don't still deserve it. If we hadn't gone through the process of forgiveness, and if we didn't work on our relationship and try to rectify all of the things that were wrong, and if we hadn't come out in a better place and applied everything that we learned to our relationship, and if we didn't wake up with the sole purpose to make each other happy every day, then maybe it would be deserved on some messed up level, because I don't really like to operate off of spite or anything like that. But, you know, without getting too deep about that, on some level, it may be deserved. Yes. But you know, and I know that we are in the most amazing place that we've ever been in life, and in our relationship with each other, in our love, in everything. So it's hard for me to imagine that you still have a deep-rooted insecurity, even knowing that I've forgiven you in like the purest way.
It doesn't matter. It's just how I feel. And see, my family and my relationship with you mean the world to me. So when it comes to those type of things, I don't want to think about it. For instance, if I know you have a friend, an ex that treated you well and maybe it didn't work out for whatever reason, I'm going to feel funny. I'm going to feel a way when I go to work and I'm like, damn, is she texting her ex right now? You know, is she in the bed touching herself thinking about her ex?
Awesome.
You know, is she on the phone with her ex?
Thanks for giving everybody that opportunity to imagine that. That was great.
I mean, and it's honest how I would feel, you know? So the things that I would need to do, whether it's work and, record an album and, set up the car show stuff and everything that we're doing, the live podcast, all that wouldn't be on my mind because I would always be thinking, I wonder what she's doing right now. I wonder if they're talking. And that has nothing to do with you because you never gave me a feeling of that way. But if that was that situation, I would. You know what I mean?
But it kind of goes back to trust. So you in your heart of hearts think and believe that I could falter.
I don't think that you can falter. There's nothing ever that you gave me as a feeling of, I think that you can falter.
But regardless, you clearly still believe that I can.
All right.
Call a spade, because you're saying one thing and then you're saying something else that contradicts it.
All right. For instance, when I go to the club with security, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of people with me. Now, I don't think anybody could put their hands on me because there's people blocking the booth when I come, right? Let's just say that, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always feel like it could happen. And that's weird.
Because it actually can happen.
Right. I mean, it can. I got Danny there. I got Diz there. I got so many different people before you get to me. But I'm like, let's say Danny's tying his shoe. Let's say Diz is scratching his balls.
Awesome.
So now that gives you that little bit of opening. Not to say that it can happen or it has happened or it will happen. I'm a paranoid and I have anxiety when it comes to certain things. So these are the things that I think about.
Which brings me back to that implies that you don't completely trust me.
No, but I do completely trust you.
You don't.
I do.
How are you just going to contradict yourself so blatantly? You're saying, I don't think that you could ever do something like that. But just in case you do. But I mean, it could be, or it could be a moment when I'm tying my shoe and someone just slips their willy right inside of you. That's kind of what you're saying.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Which means that you don't trust me.
No, what I'm saying is it could be one night.
You need to self-reflect right now.
No, I'm going to explain it. It could be one night. You have 2 glasses of champagne and you loosey-goosey. And he's saying just the right things. And I'm not saying that you would do it, but I'm saying if you did, I would understand because of everything in the past.
But this isn't about you understanding. See, this is where you're trying to confuse the situation.
I'm not.
This isn't about whether you would understand if I did it or not. This is about whether I would do it or not.
I don't think that you would do it.
But you do.
No, I don't.
Because just in case I do.
Right.
You would understand.
I don't.
Come on, babe. Think about what you're saying.
I am. And this is the thing.
Which means that you don't trust me.
No, I trust you 150%.
No, you don't. You trust me 78%. Actually.
I trust you 99.
Cut that number in half.
I trust you 99.99999.
No,
but
you
it's
don't.
that 0.1
no, you don't.
of that feeling of, one day you might just be thinking about, damn, he did this. He did that. He did this. He did that. He did this. He did that. He did that. He did this. It could be one of those. It could be one of those days. It could be one of those days you're looking in our picture book and something reminds you of something I did to you when we were 18, and you'd be like, "This mother effer."
A growl like that.
Hey, Bob.
Bob.
I'm gonna just throw the name out there. Bob just sounds such.
Sorry to all the Roberts out there, but
hey, Robert. Oh yeah, everything is great. Yeah, good talking to you. Oh yeah, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah. Oh, you want to send me flowers? Oh, that's so nice. No, I don't need flowers. That's very thoughtful. Oh, what am I doing? Nothing. Oh, you're in the area, wanted to stop by and drop off some dick? No, I'm not accepting dick today, but...
Maybe tomorrow. Because when we were 18, that mother trucker...
Because when we were 18, that mother trucker did this.
You sound so crazy to me right now.
I'm just telling you how I feel, and you have never given me anything. I'm just insecure.
But that also means that you don't trust me. Because trust equals security. And if you feel insecure about my fidelity, that means that you don't trust me. You just need to come to terms with that.
I have to think about it.
You don't have to rework. We're thinking about it right now, out loud on these mics.
I trust you 100%. If you was at a fucking party with Maxwell, Boris, Kojo, and all these other fine men that look good, and you were there, and I didn't mean fine like I'm into them, but
these are people that I've said that look good.
But if you were there with them, I wouldn't have a problem. I
You're
would
a
have
liar.
problem.
Yes,
But hold
you
on, let me
would.
finish.
Now, can we talk? Because that
Let
is
me-
now
let me-
that I know
let me
isn't
finish.
true.
Let me finish. I wouldn't have a problem. I would just go with you.
There goes another contradiction.
All right, maybe I don't. All right, maybe I don't trust you. I don't know. I thought I did, but maybe I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody. That's just how I feel. I don't want to lose my wife. So if I'm wrong for that, then crucify me and let me be wrong. But now let's get into the argument.
Dun, 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 dun. So now here's the argument of the week. Let me just lead in, right?
Yeah, you lead in.
So we were talking.
Hold on, before you lead in, they made me an offer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell the people what the offer is, but just read it. Right?
Hold on, let me look.
It says the initial offer was. Don't say the price now. But what was my reply? Just read my reply.
I don't curse, so I can't.
Capital F, capital U, capital C, capital K, capital N, capital O. My gosh.
Wait, what was it? What was the text after that?
They said, well, should the conversation have to start? Try to,
that
act
is
like I'm a little
funny.
Instagram model.
They just treated you like you come to the club for a bottle.
I know. Hold on, I'm about to reply. Look.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just reply before we get to it. I know I've been doing mad squats and all, but you're going to have to come better than that. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that, guys.
Pardon my coughing, guys. I'm a little bit sick. So anyway, what happened was we were discussing the situation regarding his friend. Mm-hmm. And when we have conversations, I don't like to talk above a conversation.
Right.
And by that, I mean, if there is a topic mm-hmm. and either of us have any experience with that topic, I like to talk from a personal perspective. Mm-hmm. If we don't have any experience with that topic, I like to hypothesize as though we do. I like to give a hypothetical twirl on it.
All right.
And that way it makes it real for me. That's how I view most situations in the world. That's how I try to look at things objectively. That's how I'm able to be real about a lot of situations and not just have a standard or typical opinion on things. Usually, if it's a topic that interests me, then I try to think deeply about it. Right. And I try to look at it from all different perspectives, all different angles. I like to have the situation that I'm presented with. I like to remix the situation. I really like to delve, especially if we're having a nice dinner, we're sitting across from one another, and we have the time, and there's apps, and there's an entree, there's desserts, there's drinks. We have time, so let's talk about it, right? So that's what we were doing the other night when we went out to eat. So in this situation, I personalized it. And the personalization started because you pretty much gave your opinion from the male's point of view.
Right.
And you said that there's a chance that he may actually be cheating because he did try to get the phone away, and we talked about that. So then I brought up cheating.
Right.
Now, when I bring up cheating, I have no problem talking about it.
Right.
I don't shudder. I'm not hurt. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm able to talk about it in a very matter-of-fact kind of way, similar to the way that you guys have heard us talk about it on occasion on the podcast. And there's been times where on the podcast, I'll mention it from a personal point of view, and you guys have heard Rashawn's entire persona change. You know, he'll become withdrawn. Yes, I'm talking about you like you're not here, but he'll become withdrawn. He'll cringe. He'll be a man of few words, even though he was a man of many words prior to that conversation.
Correct.
And it's very clear to me that he doesn't like to talk about it from a personal perspective. Now, he will talk about it, he'll talk about it in a way where he talks over the conversation. Oh yeah, well, I feel like this person this, I feel like that person that. But if I say, well, what about you? So when you were living that life and this is what was happening, or this was your mind frame, or this is the place that you were at, how did you feel? Or if this were your situation at that time, how would you handle it? Or how would you feel? Or does that ring true to you? Did you feel the same way? Because I'm genuinely just curious. And all of a sudden, all hell broke loose at dinner. And not in a crazy way, but he became withdrawn. He became quiet. And I said to him, well, why can't you freely talk about this? Mm-hmm. This happened 9 years ago.
Right.
Found out about it 6 years ago. And when I found out about it 6 years ago, it was about something that happened 3 years prior. So if it was such a long time and we're in a wonderful place and we're two mature adults that have gotten over it, why can't we talk about it, especially for conversational purposes?
Mm-hmm.
And then he responded.
Right. I don't want to talk about cheating. Why are you looking at me?
That's all you got?
Yeah. I mean, any man knows out there that's been in a situation where you have cheated, or you got caught cheating, or whatever it may be. You don't want to go back down that road. Like, that road is a tough road to drive up. Like, that was a time in our relationship where stuff was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And
when it happened, or when I found out? What are you referring to?
All of the above. It was all bad. It was a time in my life that I'm not proud of. I'm not proud of who I was at that time. And not only that, and discussing with you what I did and the details and everything, was a time in my life where I thought my life was over. I thought I was going to lose my wife. I was going to lose my family. It got to the point where I was at my lowest point where I didn't want to be here on this earth anymore. So the fact that by the grace of God, we were able to talk about it in depth and you were able to forgive me, I don't ever want to be put back into that position of even thinking about it, because I deal with that all the time still.
What do you mean all the time still?
I still think about at times what I've done to you and how it could have cost me everything. And not monetary and financial. I'm talking about just my relationship with my wife. You know, it could have cost me my relationship with my family. So to put me back in that predicament where I have to think about, well, when you did it, what were you thinking? I don't want to think about that. I don't want to put myself back in that position of when I was that person. It's kind of like being a crackhead and you're saying, okay, well, when you were in that crack house, how'd you feel? I don't want to go back in that crack house. I'm out that crack house. I've been out that crack house for 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years. Do I want to go back there and remember what that hit felt like or how demonic I was? No, I don't. I don't want to put myself in that situation. So when it comes to talking about cheating when we're having these conversations, I do buckle a little bit, because I know, and this is going to be fucked up to say, I know I have the experience. So it's of course the question is going to be like, so what do you think, Rashawn? And I'm going to be like, I don't think shit, because I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be there. And that's when I start getting, I start
shifty,
ducking and dodging like I'm Floyd Mayweather. I don't want to be in those situations. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to relive it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk to you about it again. Like, those conversations, even though that's the reason why we're together, those were some of the hardest conversations in my life. To tell the person that I love, that I'm in love with, that has sacrificed so much for me, that loves me so much and cares about me, how I fucked them over. And in details, every day we used to come home. I used to come home from work or whatever it may be, and we would talk for 10, 15 hours about everything. And that was the hardest times, because I'm being so honest and truthful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being so honest and truthful, I don't know where it's going to lead. It's not like, all right, Rashawn, you'll be honest and tomorrow everything will be okay. No, I'm being honest and truthful to try to heal our relationship and heal our friendship. I'm being honest and truthful to try to gain your trust back and say, this is what it was and whatever happened. So to put me back in that predicament is selfish as shit. Excuse my French. It's selfish, but I don't ever want to go back to feeling that way, thinking that way, or even imagining myself that way,
But it does come across, and then believe me, I understand everything that you're saying, but it does come across a little selfish. Like, yeah, for a minute I was the world's worst, but I don't want to be reminded of it because I don't want to relive those horrible moments.
Right. It's the truth. And I don't want to.
Meanwhile, I was the one that suffered as a result of it. Not to say that you didn't suffer in your way, but realistically, there's no comparison between the levels at which each of us suffered separately.
And what did I tell you during dinner? I told you if the discussion is to heal or the discussion is because you want to know, we can talk about it all day. But if it's just general conversation to shoot the shit, to talk about somebody else or to talk about a celebrity or to talk about a friend, I don't want to go there for that. If it's for healing our relationship or talking about something that you want to know or that you're interested in, we can do that all day long because I understand. But if it's about talking about, oh, well, Kevin Hart got caught cheating, what was his mind frame? No, I don't want to go. Fuck, I love Kevin Hart to death, but fuck him. That's not where I want to go. Tristan Thompson and Chloe, that's not where I want to go. Fuck them too. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, if it's for self-heal or
I understand
our
what
relationship
you're saying,
healing, yes. But for other shit, no, I don't want to be there.
I definitely give credit to what you're saying. But from my point of view, if we do it your way and talk above situations,
not situations, fake. Just that.
If we talk about cheating situations, right, which we happen to be surrounded by.
That's true.
You report news for a living.
Right.
So we're always in the know when it comes to who's cheating on who or what's going on in the world or things going on in our culture. And a lot of it in some way, shape or form either is about cheating or connected to cheating. I feel as though our society is kind of revolving around cheating in a lot of ways. So it's always at some point during the month like a topic of conversation. And when we talk above it, I gotta be real, like I feel fake. It feels fake. I feel like I'm having a fake conversation with my husband. It feels like there's always an elephant in the room and it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And that's the best way that I can articulate how I feel. I feel like a lot of times we have these conversations and we can't talk about it from a personal point of view because you're sensitive when it comes to that. And the conversation feels like bullshit.
No, see,
because then you'll be like, well, maybe he felt this way, or maybe he was thinking this, or maybe she reacted like that because of. I want to be like, no, well, how did you feel? Like, where is this point of view coming from? Like, we have to be more direct about it.
Yeah,
and I feel as though if I was able to get over it, damn it to hell, you should be able to get over it and have these conversations. I just don't want to be fake when it comes to it, to protect feelings.
See, the problem is in any man or woman, if you're listening right now, I want you to DM Gia and tell her what you think because since you're not the person.
Right now it's going to be inundated with.
No, because since you're not in my predicament where if you cheated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it up to talk about. I don't know how comfortable you would be talking about it.
I'm comfortable talking about everything. You think
you
I was
say that now because
do you
you're
think
not in
when we
that situation.
Were having those
I think if you were in a situation,
10, 12,
it'd be different.
15-hour conversations, you think that felt comfortable to me?
Yes.
If you thought that felt comfortable to me, then why do you think that if I were on the reverse end, it wouldn't feel comfortable to me? And why do you think that it felt comfortable to me?
I do think, it's not a matter about comfortable to you. I think everything is comfortable to you.
What do you mean?
You're the type of person where you like in depth. Like you like to converse. You like to talk. You like to communicate. That's who you are as a person.
Well, I'm a detail-oriented person.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So you want to know all the details. I'm not. I'm more of a, like if I say, how do you get to the store? I'd be like, right, left. That's me. You're like right at the stop sign that's flashing. You left at the yellow house with the blue picket fence. Right at the McDonald's, with the flowers out front. That's you.
The pretty golden arches.
That's you. Me, I'm like right, left, right. We get to the same spot, but you just have a more detailed way of thinking about things. I could just imagine as a kid when you used to write, essays, that your essays were so damn detailed. Like, like 3 pages, you'd be like, oh, this is easy. All I got to do is just describe the one house. Me, I'm like, blue house, white picket fence. And I don't even know what to say. You're like, blue house, white picket fence with brown molding that leaded to the gutters, which was totally made out of tin, and the tin was brown. It's usually brown, blue colored, but this tin was, and they imported it from Mexico. Like, that's you. Mm-hmm. That's not me. I'm like, motherfucking house is blue with tin on it, and that's it. But that's how that's the difference we are. So when it comes to back to the cheating thing, when it comes to talking about it, I'm not detailed, and I don't want to go back to that place. I hated who I was. Every time I think about it, I hate that person. Like, I don't even find it funny. Like, some people like, oh yeah, back then when no, I don't find it funny.
Well, no, it's definitely not funny.
And
there's nothing funny about it.
I don't even like to joke, talk, or mention it. Like, even when I'm doing Breakfast Club, like when it's something about, I buckle because I hate that person. Yeah, I can say, yeah, I did that. I'm not proud of it. And I'm a totally different person. And if I feel like I'm a totally different person, I'd rather move forward than go backwards.
I understand.
So if you ask me about cheating, I can tell you what I think. But don't say, well, when you did this, well, what do you think? Motherfucker, I don't want to think about what I thought. How about that? How about those apples? I don't want to think about that. I don't.
I understand, but I also think that it's selfish in a sense, and it's not conducive to our relationship, because in those moments, I just don't feel like we're being real with each other. It feels like we're talking around a subject instead of talking inside the subject. And if we both have experience inside the subject, why are we talking from a perspective like we don't know and we have to sit there and guess and assume? No, you have a good idea of what was probably on his mind. So say it. Say it clearly. And now just be honest. Do you ever get even a wince of attitude or anger or anything from me?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Usually when I buckle up.
Oh, no. I'm talking about if you do delve into the conversation.
I don't really delve into it, but you don't ever get angry or upset. Not at all.
No, because like I said earlier, it's very matter of fact for me. It's just talking about something that happened, which I am actually completely over. I'm not one of those people that says I'm over it, but I'm not really. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. From time to time, I will reflect, or something will remind me of that period, like when I found out, and the way that my mind was swirling about what could have happened and trying to figure things out and figuring out opportunities and going crazy mentally, trying to dissect it and understand it. That doesn't feel good.
Right.
But right now, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to have conversations where it feels as though both of us aren't really plugged in.
Yeah. I mean, I get that and I understand that, but it's difficult. And after the conversation, I told you, that I will try.
Well, you're skipping a part.
What?
It got nasty.
It did.
So we were at STK in New York City in meatpacking. Beautiful night. It was hot during the day. We get to dinner at about maybe 6:30. Right? Maybe about 6:30. Mm-hmm. The breeze is starting to come in and it was just beautiful outside. And we're having conversations, having a great date night. And then we started talking about his friend, and then it got to this part. And then he clammed up and began to withdraw. And when I called him on it, you weren't so nice.
No, I wasn't. Because
you weren't so nice.
It's happened before.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of hit a wall with it. And it wasn't gracefully trying to bow out of a conversation. You weren't very nice about it.
Right.
So things got nasty in a sense. Maybe nasty might be an exaggeration, but it got very uncomfortable.
It did. It got nasty. I mean, I wouldn't say it got nasty. It got quiet.
First it got uncomfortable.
Right.
Then it got quiet. Then I was irritated. So
it got nasty.
Then I wanted to be a little nasty, so I pulled out my phone.
Right.
And I was on my phone for a little while. Mm-hmm. And the whole while I'm thinking like, wow, anybody watching probably thinks that we're just that couple that's completely disinterested in each other,
right?
Because it's so disrespectful that I'm sitting here on the phone.
I mean, we've all been there. I mean, I'm sure everybody that listens have been in a situation where you're out eating and the argument just gets left and you just don't talk and you're like, I wish this bitch would hurry up and finish eating.
So what?
I'm not calling
What?
you a bitch, but
that's say that again?
That's what the mind frame was. That
I just repeat it again. What'd you say?
Shut up. You know
No,
what?
go ahead. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
No, but I
So
wish.
I have to put the mic down and inflict a black eye upon you.
No.
Do you want to correct that right quick?
You know what I mean. I didn't mean it like that, but I wish you would hurry up and finish eating this food so we can get home, you know?
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, I mean, everybody's been in that situation where it's like, wish she hurry up to get out of here because this is just uncomfortable.
You talking about, so you still want to go to the club after we leave here right now? You know Hollywood's DJing. I was like, no, I want to go home actually. And then you were like, you sure you don't want to go to the club? And I was like, no, don't ask me again. And then when we're leaving, you're like, all right, so I just texted Hollywood and told him that we're coming through. And I'm like,
no, but we did have a conversation on the way to the club and you know.
No, actually, we had the conversation while we were still seated.
A little bit seated.
It spilled
over
over into the car.
And, you know, I agree with you. You know, I think that, you know, I have to grow up and, you know, your conversations of having conversations is not malice. It's not that you're being upset. It's more that you just want to be able to talk freely and not have any barrier in the way where you feel like you can't have that conversation. And I understand that and I get that. And for myself, I will try to open that up a little bit where I don't feel like I'm fighting for my life or it's putting me back into a place where I don't need to be, or I don't want to be, I should say.
And I'll try not to delve into topics like that from a personal point of view unless I feel as though the conversation would be really beneficial in some way, shape, or form. Like I won't bring it up just for bleeps and giggles. Right.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's why I love you. We were able to talk about it. And we did go to the club and we had a good time.
Yeah, we did go to the club and have a good time.
Yeah, we did. Well, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good?
No, that conversation was a nice conversation. And today's episode of the KC Crew was brought to you by Nutrafol, a new, safe, and effective strategy to help you take control of your hair's health. Now, there are numerous causes of hair loss, whether it's menopause, postpartum, or issues with sleep. Nutrafol can help, all right? If you want more information, go to the website, go to Nutrafol.com to learn more, and that's Nutrafol.com. Now, if you want to get your first month supply with subscription for $10, if you want it, all you got to do is visit, again, here's the website, Nutrafol.com, and use the promo code KCCrew during checkout. Again, that's Nutrafol.com. Use KCCrew to get your first month supply for $10 with subscription, okay? It's 100% drug free. So if you're having problem with your hair, thinning, or any of that stuff, hit up the website again to get all the information you would need. That's Nutrafol.com, Nutrafol.com to learn more. Now let's get to the email of the week.
Okay.
Now we're at an hour already, so I know you guys have been listening for a long time, but we're almost out of here.
I don't think they mind, Rashawn. You always think that we have to end it in an hour or 45 minutes. Like, just relax.
Well, I do. I got things to do.
Oh, now you got things to do.
I got things to do.
You don't got anything to do. The babies didn't barge in. Irma must have kept them downstairs.
Yeah, Irma definitely kept them downstairs. All right. So this question is my boyfriend bisexual? Hey, Gia. Okay, so where do I begin? Recently, I was going through my boyfriend's phone and I went to his history and I saw that he had been watching. Now this says, this is what she says. So I'm just reading this email. He's been watching tranny porn. I'm a snooper by nature, but what made me want to go through his phone was recently when we were having sex. I was tossing the salad, and he asked me if he would turn around.
He asked me if
he should turn around, like get on his knees. I said, nah, and kept doing what I was doing while he lifted his legs further apart in the air even more. This is a lot of TMI.
So he was on his back.
He was on his back. With his legs up in the air, right?
With his legs up in the air.
And he asked, could he turn around?
And
kept doing what I was doing and lift his legs. Okay. The kicker is I was out of town for a few days. And during the time I was out of town, I also saw tranny escort in the history.
Oh.
So I have no clue if he actually ordered or called an escort in our area. He's never given me any signs that he swings both ways if that's the case. When we do have sex, he has no issues me penetrating with my thumb finger. Have you ever done that to your husband?
Great.
Would he even allow it? I'm so confused on how to move forward. Do I approach him and tell him what I saw? Is it like Hey, Logan. Hey, we're doing an email. I don't think you want to hear about this email, so I need you to get out of here. You want to borrow
really
Mama's
came
charger?
in here to get my charger?
Yeah. All right. You should get your own charger, bro.
Where's the charger that?
And I just want to tell you, Logan asked me for $5 earlier because he's playing Fortnite and he wants to change the character's clothing. Like he wants to change the character's clothing. Instead of having a pink dress, you want him to have a red dress.
No, it's a totally different character.
It's a totally different character.
2 characters for $5.
Get out of here. No, you're not. No, you're not getting no damn $5.
Daddy responded to you the way he responded to Fashion Nova.
Fuck no. Excuse my French.
Oh, come on,
I didn't mean
Rashawn.
it. You the one that said it.
Yeah, but they knew. He didn't have to know.
He knows I'm joking with him.
Anyway, get out.
Please get it.
No.
Oh my
no,
gosh,
no.
I need you to leave.
No, we're doing a podcast. Get out of here, bro.
No, seriously, like we're live.
Get out, bro.
You gotta go.
Thank you.
Love you though.
All right.
Bye, handsome.
All right.
Close the door tight.
Close
please.
the door, please.
And don't let any babies come in.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
thank you. Goodbye.
So she says, do I approach him and tell him what I saw? Is liking transsexual / she-males the same as being gay? Watching videos I can accept, but actually acting on it, I don't think I can stay in it sincerely. Anonymous.
Let me just start by saying my first instinct is to say that if he is watching that kind of porn and on those type of escort sites.
No, that's two different things.
What do you mean?
One, he was watching the porn, and two, he was on an escort site. That's totally
Right.
two different things.
I know. I said if he was watching that kind of porn and on those kind of escort sites.
Right.
Okay, no, now I have to remix what I was going to say. Let me start over. If he was watching that kind of porn alone, I would easily jump to the conclusion that that means that he definitely has some sincere interest that lies there. But I'm not a man. You're going to be better suited to answer this question. But I know from a personal point of view that I fantasize about a whole lot of things that I would never do in real life.
Okay.
Because there might just be something about it that turns me on.
Correct.
There might be a dirty aspect to it or a conniving aspect to it or, something that is sneaky about it or something. And that, for the sake of fantasizing, turns me on. I don't know if there's any relation to those type of fantasies and fantasizing about members of the opposite sex or members of the same sex or what have you. Now, why I had to remix what I was going to say originally is when you take it to looking at
Escorts?
escorts,
Yeah, it's a little far.
that's not necessarily just about fantasizing. That seems as though you're on a road where you're interested in bringing your fantasies into reality.
Right.
Which would definitely give me cause for concern. And I would definitely lean towards thinking that
What?
at some point he may incorporate that into his lifestyle.
I agree with you, and what you said was perfect, right? You said that people do things that they fantasize about that they necessarily wouldn't do in real life. It's just that's why it's called a fantasy. And there's nothing wrong if your husband or boyfriend or fiance likes to get his butt eaten. There's nothing wrong with that. It feels good. That's pretty much it. Why are you looking at me like that? It feels good. It does. Now, when you take it to watching different things on porn, why are you looking at me like that? What? What? Well, stop looking at me like that because in a minute I'm going to look at the ceiling and finish talking to you. What? 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 Oh, you want to be real, but for everything but that. You want to be real about the cheating conversation, but when I say my butt getting eaten, it feels good. It's a different situation. But anyway, getting your salad tossed is nothing wrong with that. It feels good, like I said.
Awesome.
But when it comes to fantasies, there's certain things that people fantasize about. Now, I have a friend that
Oh, you have a friend.
I have a friend. True story. I'll tell you who it is after. How do I put it so you know who it is, but the people don't? Anyway, I have a friend that was telling me that they had a period where they was into that type of porn as well.
Into what kind of porn?
I always say the wrong term, and I don't want to offend anybody, but transsexual porn, I believe it's called. Transgender porn. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He was into transgender porn, and not that he said he indulged in it. He said it was just interesting to him, and he used to watch it. He said he doesn't watch it now, and he's not into it. And I was like, why? And he was just like, it's just why. I just told Gil who was low. He just said he was into it, and he was like, he was intrigued by it. He said it was a period of a couple of months where he watched it a lot because that's what he was into. I asked him if he indulged in it, if he ever would. He said no, but that's what he used to watch. So like you said, if the person has a fantasy about it, then that's fine. But the problem is escort. Now, when you're Googling escort and looking for escort, that means you're actually taking to the next step, and not only to have an escort with anything, but now he wants to, I believe, cheat. And I would definitely approach him on it. I mean, and this is the thing. I would ask him about it. I wouldn't jump to conclusions at first. And the reason I wouldn't jump to conclusions is I hate, and I don't want to say nosy people, but I hate people that don't ask and jump to conclusions. Like, let's say I go on Gear's computer, and on Gear's computer it's transgender porn, right? And then I just look up and it says escort, and I automatically jump to the conclusion, oh, she's looking to get a escort to cheat on me. But it could be something as small as you are watching TV and you seen something about an escort and you was like, damn, they paid for it. I'm curious to see how much it costs. Let me just Google to see how much it costs. It could have been something small and minor like that.
Right. But you kind of have to look at preponderance of the evidence, no?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
She's looking at their bedroom activity, which in and of itself is fine.
Right.
A little finger poo and the buddy poo and, a little salad tossing or whatever. Okay, so that's fine. But then transgender porn that he's looking at.
Right.
Then there's transgender escort services that he's looking up. It's the totality of all of these flags.
The escort service is what's wrong.
Right. But what I'm saying is you can say, all right, you have to take into consideration context, and maybe he was watching something and Googled it out of curiosity.
I would ask him. Absolutely.
If that was the situation in and of itself, yes. But like I said, you look at preponderance of the evidence and everything in its totality definitely leads me to believe that there is something more going on.
Absolutely.
And that it calls for concern. If she's not part of that community and her interests aren't the same, then that is a very, very big problem.
Right. I agree. And I think that she definitely needs to have a conversation about him. And I would be very scared and very nervous, especially if
you
somebody...
were her, if you were him.
Her. I mean, the fact
Why?
that because he's hiring an escort. He's hiring somebody that's paid.
No, you don't know if he's hiring.
Or he was inquiring about it.
Yes.
And if he was inquiring about it, I'm thinking that maybe that was his next step. Mm-hmm. And that would be a conversation we need to have. Why, if that's what he's into, and why cheat and why pay for it? Because if you're paying for an escort, 9 times out of 10, an escort is somebody that gets paid for that type of service.
Because he may just be interested in the sex.
Right.
He may not be interested in going out and finding a person to be in a relationship with. He's looking at the porn. So maybe there's something about that type of sex or what he's witnessing when he watches that kind of sex that turns him on.
Right.
So a person in his situation, if this is the case, and if what we're assuming is the case, it would suit him to look for an escort because it's quick, you pay for it, it's a night, and all of your fantasies can run amok.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's a good idea because prostitutes and escorts, in my opinion, are horrible ideas. A lot of people say, oh, escorts are just, someone that you go out and enjoy a night with. It's about the company and the companionship.
No, they're paying the fuck.
Give me a break.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, it's a nice way to call someone a prostitute.
Absolutely.
But Having sex with someone that you don't know and who has sex with people for a living and gets paid for it is an STD or a health risk just waiting to happen. So that is what would concern me more than everything. It would concern me more about my feelings. Oh, my boyfriend's cheating. Oh, forget about that. Like, I would be a lot more devastated if I wound up with an STD.
All right.
Or something that jeopardized my health. So it's something that I think that she really needs to take seriously. And now let's take it a step further. Let's say that they have a conversation and he just says, okay, well, it's just something that I fantasized about. Mm-hmm. What do you think that she should do at that point?
I like what you said earlier. Like, there's things that you fantasize that you would never do in person. And I think if somebody fantasizes about that, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to indulge in it. And I think if one thing about sexual freedom, if that's what he likes and you're cool with it, I don't see a problem with it. You know, let's say
no. But hold on. Remember, we have the escort situation. So let's say that he makes it all sound nice.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that she should believe him? Like, when you think about everything in this situation, do you think that there is any talking your way out of it?
No, I think it's a conversation. I mean, I think she should definitely keep her eye open. But if he didn't pay for escort and he's honest to why he was looking it up, I think she should definitely keep her eye open, like anybody should do in any relationship. But definitely in this one, keep two eyes open and see exactly what it's doing. You know, and what?
Nah. Realistically, like, if you, like, one thing that I don't believe that we can change about ourselves is our sexuality.
Correct.
The things that turn us on. Mm-hmm. You know, people talk about, for instance, on the extreme side of the spectrum, people talk about rehabilitating pedophiles. Uh-huh. I don't believe in rehabilitating pedophiles. I just don't. I think that there is something about their mentality and their personality, maybe life experience, maybe they were molested, maybe something just went wrong when they were being created. I don't know, but I think that if that is what turns you on and that's what fires the synapse in your brain, that is who you are.
A pedophile, correct?
Yes. I just think that, you know, I'm a heterosexual. I like men. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to like men. That is my sexuality. You know, people that are gay, that is their sexuality. People that are transgenders, this is who they are. This is who people are. So if she's not comfortable with him being into or turned on by transgenders because that's not her lifestyle, I think that there is no talking about it. There is no, okay, well, I'm going to stop watching those videos.
I mean, he doesn't.
I'm going to stop fantasizing about those things. I don't think he has
to stop watching or stop fantasizing.
What I'm saying is, if it's not her lifestyle and if his choices and what pleases him doesn't please her, because usually
that has nothing to do with pleasing her.
Yes, what I mean, pleasing her mentally, not pleasing her physically.
I mean, if
it does not make her happy. For instance, if you told me that you were into transgenders, that doesn't fit my lifestyle because I am not. That is not part of my sexual lifestyle.
Right. But this is my whole thing.
So that would be a problem for us. And if you told me, all right, I'm just going to stop fantasizing about it and I'm going to stop watching those videos. I'm going to think that you are going to watch them on your phone on the L,
right,
and erase your history.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
But
my point is, I don't think that is just going to go away.
And it shouldn't just go away. And I'm going to explain to you. The bad part about that whole situation was the escort. Because if he's into bondage, right? Let's say he wants to be bonded and he likes watching them pornos, those bondage pornos or whatever it may be, right? If he's into that and his girlfriend is not into that, that doesn't affect them. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm still fucking you. I'm still having sex with you.
No,
I'm still mentally.
I think you're wrong.
But let me finish.
Bondage is just an act. That's not a whole lifestyle. That's not a whole separate sexual choice.
But that's what turns him on. If he jerks off to watching bondage, that has nothing to do with you because he's not necessarily cheating on you with a bondage person. Or let's say he likes midget prostitutes. I'm sorry, little small person prostitutes or whatever it may be. He might jerk off to small people prostitutes. I can't, whatever. Little people. He might jerk off to little people, right? And that has nothing to do with you because we have a great relationship. But at night when we're not together and I'm by myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking of a little person right now and I want to jerk off to a little person. There's nothing wrong with that because he's not cheating. He could, like you said, you could fantasize about everything. You could fantasize about having 3 penises inside of you.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Right. If that's what,
that was extreme.
Okay, 4. I don't know. But if that's what turns you on, but you also said it's not something I would indulge in, but it's a fantasy that I have. If that's what your fantasy and that's what makes you nut when I'm not here.
All right.
That has nothing to do with me.
Let me simplify it a little bit, right? So I'm not going to use a real person because that's pointless. Let's say that there's someone that lives on our street. And his name is Jack, right? And let's say you know that I'm attracted to Jack.
Okay.
And every time I'm around Jack, I get a little giddy or I get a little flirty. And let's say I've made several references that I think Jack is great looking and I like his body and everything. And let's say we have a heart to heart one day and we talk about our fantasies. And I tell you that every night when I pull out my toy, I'm thinking about Jack. How does that make you feel?
It'll make me feel foul.
Right.
Because Jack is a real person. Now, if you said,
wait.
If you said I fantasize about a diesel man.
Let's say, okay, let's be real. Let's say there's a model, for instance, or a doctor or an athlete. Now let's just keep it superficial. Let's say there's a model or a celebrity, for instance, that I don't know in any way, shape, or form, but you know, same situation with Jack, that I'm attracted to him. I think he's great looking. And every night when I pull out my toy, I'm fantasizing about him. How does that make you feel?
I wouldn't like it, but
it doesn't make you feel foul?
It does, but let me explain something to you.
Wait, let me just say something before you explain it.
Go ahead.
The point is that it doesn't please me. Excuse me. The point is that it doesn't please you to know that I'm thinking about someone else, even though I have no access to them. That, even though it's heterosexual and it's, still part of our lifestyle, etc., it doesn't make you happy. What I'm saying is, if it doesn't please her that he's either fantasizing about a model, about a person that lives on their street, or about a transgender, then that will be a problem for her.
All right. But all right, so for instance, and I'll be honest, right? When I'm not here and you masturbate, right?
Awesome.
Play with yourself, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I don't necessarily care what you think about.
You don't care because you don't know.
And I never ask because I don't want to know.
Exactly.
And you know why I don't want to know? Because that's your fantasy.
No, you don't know. You don't want to know because you don't want your feelings hurt. Let's be real.
Maybe that's a little bit about it too.
No, that's what it is.
But it's also because that's your fantasy.
No, it's not just because it's my fantasy. You don't want to know because if you knew, it would haunt you. Well, that's the reason. Like, you're just saying stuff because it sounds good.
No, not necessarily.
True.
If you had a fantasy of being a gangbanged, right? And that was your shit. And that was, you wanted to feel a penis in your ass, a penis in your pussy,
everybody knows
and
what that
a penis
means.
in your mouth,
awesome.
right?
Great.
If that's what turns you on, and I'm sure that might turn a lot of females on to have more than one guy, and that turns you on, I wouldn't care. That's your fantasy.
But see, hold on. It's a little different because in that specific example, it's more like the act. There's not like a bunch of faces. It's not like you're going to put 6 public people that are celebrities or whatever in the room, like in your fantasy. Do you know what I mean? That's more so about the act. But if you knew that I was fantasizing about a particular person or a particular 3 people and you were aware, it would hurt you and it would haunt you. And it's because it wouldn't please you to know that. It wouldn't please you to know that information. Her knowing this information and knowing that it's not just, another person in a video, but it's someone with a whole completely different lifestyle and a whole completely different sexuality in a sense.
So let me ask you a question, right? Let's say there was a white couple, right?
Okay.
A white couple, and they had sex, and he looked up her computer, and when she looked up her computer, it was nothing but big black cocks, right? BBCs, right? Right?
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah. So she was into big black cocks, right?
Okay.
So should he feel away now because she's into big black cocks and he's white?
Probably, yeah, probably. Yes. Yes. My answer to that question is yes.
I say I don't agree. I agree that you got to allow people to have fantasies. It's a fantasy.
I believe in having
it's a fantasy.
I know, but
not to say that she would act on it, but she might feel like I've heard so much about BBCs that it's something that it turns me on it sometimes that I think about it. Not that I would indulge in it.
Right. As much as I encourage openness and things of that nature, communication and being, completely transparent in relationships, and it's conducive for the healthy relationship and all that good stuff. What I do know is that sometimes too much information or letting your partner know every last thing can be hurtful to them. It can be hurtful, and it may not please you to know this stuff. It may not please you to know this stuff, and it can be damaging. So the fact that she knows that he's into transgenders may hurt her because she is not a transgender.
Right.
And to know that given the opportunity, he may dip and dabble in that lifestyle or having sex with a transgender or taking steps towards it. Yes, that I think can be a very, very big call for concern.
All right. Well, I mean, I think at this point it's almost like a agree to disagree, because I feel like,
where are we disagreeing?
Well, because I feel like if somebody has a sexual fantasy, they should be able to be open with their partner. Like, for instance, right?
That's not true.
No, I mean,
you want to know who? So you want to know who I fantasize about? You don't.
No, I don't. I mean,
this is my point.
But some people do in certain relationships. So the other day I had a fantasy about a mermaid. So now are you gonna fucking leave me? So you gonna be mad about mermaids?
No, because they don't exist. So I don't care.
I had a fantasy about a ghost. Me and the ghost was going at it for
mermaids
hours.
Even have vaginas? There's no opening. I don't know if a mermaid has a vagina, so I can't be insecure about a mermaid.
All right. Well, what about a ghost? What me and the ghost was going at it?
I don't think they have vaginas either.
How you know? My ghosts have vagina. I don't know.
But do you see what I mean? Like we talk about openness and honesty and everything, but sometimes openness and honesty and too much truth can be damaging.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that she should really just have that conversation, like you said. And the escort thing is what really bothered me, and that's what really scared me. And they should have that conversation. But there's nothing wrong with a little tongue in the butt.
You're just gonna keep harping on that, right?
What?
You just want to make me feel uncomfortable?
What? I didn't say anything.
I think it's time to wrap.
Are you admitting something? Now, don't forget, if you want to hear more about tongues in the butts, July 27th is our live podcast. We would love to see you guys there. Get your tickets now, sonyhall.com or ticketmaster.com. I know there's very few tickets left. I think less than 50 tickets left. So come on out, get your tickets. We're going to have a lot of fun. A bigger venue, nicer venue. The food is amazing. Make it a date night. It's Friday.
Or a girls trip.
Or girls trip. Or fellas, you can come on out. Yeah, absolutely. Come on out and we'll have a great conversation. And then after we'll have some nice comedy. So we hopefully will see you guys. All right?
All right.
All right. Well, I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And I'm about to lick your ass.
Okay. You thought I was going to say no?
That's another edition of the KC Crew.
Doodles.